ฮัลโหลสวัสดีครับ
พี่โดโดสวัสดีครับ
สวัสดีครับ เป็นไงบ้างในวันนี้แฮปปี้ดีนะอืม
อ๋อครับ
โอเคเดี๋ยวกันสักหนึ่งนะครับ elaborate and explain why โอเค alright เอ่อเป็นไงบ้างเรียนสอบมิดเทอมหรือยังจบหมดแล้วเนาะ
อ๋อเดี๋ยวผมสอบมิดเทอมอาทิตย์หน้าครับ
อ๋อโอเคไม่น่ามีปัญหานะครับ happy. All right. I just yeah, let's get started for the first question here. All right. So this is might be a little bit controversial, right? Just because we have to discuss on the you know a better leader here, right? Who makes a better leader? So the first aspect is that it talks about someone who is loved from everyone or by everyone here, or someone who is fair just because it is influence or impact something here. I would say that both of aspect are equally important. I can say just because when it comes to say something on the leadership skill, right? I mean, some kind of like I'm sorry for that. I mean,
yes
yeah, some kind of like so wait a second. I mean, okay. Some may say that um, 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 พี่เปิดตัวนี้ก่อนเดี๋ยวเราต้องไม่เป็นไรเดี๋ยว switch กัน sorry เบลอละ alright again right we can start from this one first okay basically I do understand that a better leader can possess for two version, right? Okay, I do believe that if a person is being loved, this is quite important that everyone have to respect or we're respected. Is that right? But sometimes, like in terms of managerial position or how can they influence people, I would say that it's not going to be a fear uh, to that extent, right? I mean like that fear, it means that must be constructive fear in terms of mandate or manipulate people here. But anyway, you can choose one of two. And then if you want to support any idea or some kind of a reason here, just take your position and explain your answer here with let's say personal experiences or even the concept or what about your perspective here, right? I think you should prepare a bit for 5 minutes. If you finish before that, just turn on the microphone here, okay? Mhm.
โอเค For me, I personally think that a better leader should be someone who is loved more
Mm-hmm.
than someone who is fear. This is because I think that when someone who is fear take control of his or her people,
Mm.
I think that this kind of control is like some domination, yeah, that control people from fear. And I think that this is soon a good idea to control your people, because once the leader lost lost their um once the follower lost their fear to leader,
Mm-hmm.
they will stop following them, and maybe maybe take some action to revolution the fear leader, yeah.
I see.
As you can see in many movie that um the the antagonist that usually
Mm-hmm.
control people by their fear will always get betrayed by some of their follower. Yeah, and on the other hand, if the leader is someone who is loved by their follower, I think that is this kind of follower will will somehow feel admired to the leader, and they they will they will follow their leader not because that they fear them and they need to do just as the leader say to not get punished or something like this. They will not do something like that, but they will do some they will follow like because they just want to follow them. Yeah, this is why I think is better, because um it's it's like that this kind of leader will have a follower that go with them, no no matter what happen, yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for your sharing here. Yeah, I do understand for your point of view, right? That the leader or someone who loves is much more, feasible or accommodate other people to do or inspire such working to be more productive, right? To my perspective, I do understand that someone who is loved may be such a concept or even such image, such a perfect image to those people who become a leader, and they can inspire other people to be loved, and they are loved by surrounding people with them. But in reality, in practical, I would say that just because for a leader, the position just only take place just for only, I can say, just a single position. Is that right? Meaning that they have to control a lot, even is going to be loved, but in reality, it doesn't work for some reason. I mean that for some management position, we can see from time to time that those people who quite controllable or even become have an influence to other people. I might say that being fair is not that the bad word to reconsider about the leader, just because when it comes to have the leader, in reality, it should be like lots of controlling other people to do just because you can control it and run, operate something properly, right? I mean, like for some realistic scenario, it should be like that. But anyway, the ideal of manager or a leader here is just kind of like we have to process or cultivate other people to become loving much more than it used to be. So it might be a perfect and fantastic, a picture of a leader or a successful leader in the future, right? Good. Thank you so much for sharing here. Great. All right. So moving to the second question here. I'm sorry. So some people are concerned that many teachers are not sufficiently qualified for a classroom and argue that they should be required to pass competency tests before they are allowed to teach. It's happened to some extent, right? Do you agree or
Yeah.
disagree with this statement? I would say that, okay, I'm not saying that we can, like, let's say, like, you can talk about your previous experience. I do understand for some school or for some kind of like let's say, content-based or knowledgeable subject, for example, a physics, chemistry, biology, or whatever I can say. It seems that those teachers have to possess very strong knowledge in order to deliver or make sure that they can teach and be able to let students understand what they are saying, right? Or even for some kind of a technical teacher, I can say, for example, like if you have to practice in the professional way, I would say that those people have like a hands-on experiences or accumulated experiences, maybe over years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever here, especially when it comes to a college student and university, right? Here, the question seemed to argue that we have to check reliability in terms of competency or ability, right? Ability to it, that teachers should be able to do that or not. What I want from you here, I think that you can raise some example of those teachers. For example, like let's say like in the mathematics or physics or whatever you can explain because you've been learning or knowing some kind of a group of teachers already, right? And then just explain that why do you agree with that and what can be proposed solution that you are going to say or explain for more, right? I think you can have a time to think about it a bit. Maybe, yeah, just I give you a time a bit, and then if you're ready, just turn on the microphone here. Yeah. Mhm.
โอเค I think that in Thailand, I think that the quality of teacher mainly concentrate on the city. Yeah, as you can see that in the city there are many schools that is that are full of high quality teacher.
Mm.
Yeah, and this make teacher in rural area like in some in some urban city have a poor quality teacher in the school. As you can see from a lot of news this day that the teacher from rural area teach something wrong to their student, and that cause a lot of misunderstanding to the to children. So I think that we should focus on um, make make on making every school no matter where it is in urban area or in city, but we should make the every school have somehow same standard to each other and have have a high quality teacher in
Mm.
every school. Yeah.
You mean like try to distribute or allocate the same quality of teaching to the other the rural area instead of downtown area too? Is that right? Things like that.
Yes, absolutely.
All
So that
right.
the children can learn a good thing at anywhere. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your sharing here. I do understand the point that you raised and mentioned here, but in practical, it's quite hard just because when we compare between downtown area or in city life, we have lots of facility, but I can say that accommodation, schooling facilities that can recruit for some qualified teacher to
Yeah.
teach, and then it become to be more successful, right? The student can get a core instruction and well equipped, well prepared for this kind of teacher who quite competent or
Um,
professional, right?
yeah. As
But
far as I heard,
yeah, right. But
there, in the city there are a lot of competition for school to teach
yeah,
in
yeah.
popular school. Yeah.
And the trend has been changed too. I mean, like for example, in a big city, especially in Bangkok, and the core education might shift into wide variety of international program instead of schooling and a regular program. I can say to me, those students who prepare for, they can call the program of STEM, science, technology, I'm not quite sure, English, and then
Yeah.
mathematics, things like that, right? For those group of students, like, let's say like they try to prepare those students to become a better student in future and become specialized in the terms of like medicine, medical student, medical school, or even engineering or technology innovation for later. Just because this kind of area can be foster or improve the quality of life in the future, right? I can say that just because for those kind of student who's quite smart, I can say that they're quite active in terms of learning. And then the trend is that just because when it comes to saying something about like international school, so the price and the tuition fees is quite high, right? And they try to switch by emphasizing on those specialized subject, core subject like science or mathematics technology here, and then put into like an English program or bilingual program instead of regular program. You know what I mean? Meaning that English it might be just only tool for communication just because everyone have to use it. So but I do understand that just because the trend of technology too, I can see that lots of my students have a better skill at English, they can be fluent, they can quite interactive in terms of communication. And for Gen Z, like the young next generation next to you, right? They're quite fluent in terms of English. So there is no, I mean that for English language teaching or even a language literacy here, maybe just only a compliment. It's not that the main core for instruction at all. And again, right? When it comes to say for the, I mean, when you see from the university setting, especially for your program, right? Studying medicine or medical student have to be I do understand that you have to work hard on practical skills too, right? I mean training. What is that right? I mean like you must be more well trained or well skillful, right? Okay, I mean skillful on that training too, just because it deals with a life of people, or I mean like it is very vital or important for you to make it sure that it go hand in hand. So for these specialized courses, especially for medical student, I would say that those teacher or professor in that field must be required to pass competency test in order to make sure that it could be well perform things like that in the future, right? Okay, good. Thank you so much for your sharing here. Enough for to วันนี้พี่สลับนะฮะจริงๆแล้วมันต้องเปิด7.2แป๊บหนึ่งนะ sorry. All right, good. That's okay. So we can see 7.1 here, right? Many people feel that American society is too competitive, highly competitive, or whatever you can say. American society, so this is very broad, right? You have to set aside from the education, economic, technology, or social problems, social issues, or humanity, whatever here. Do you agree or disagree with that? If so, is a good thing or bad thing that the world has to be competitive like that? All right, so I think you just specify just only one area of your interest. For example, like medical or medical advancement, or even biotechnology. Do you know biotechnology, right?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
What is that actually?
It's just as the name state, it is a technology that used in terms of medicine to help the doctor make their performance better.
So it seems like it is very new trend and it is widely acceptable, right? I mean, biotechnology really, it looks like AI, I can say. I mean, just because it's very important in terms of like a medical studies or research in scientists like that, right? Okay, maybe you can just seek out just only one aspect here and then try to see why let's say developed countries such as America society is highly competitive, right? And then just share the idea or your dimension, your perspective toward this kind of thing, right? I'm going to give you for 5 minutes, and then if you're ready, just share it. Yeah.
Okay. What I will say about this question, I will mostly depend. I will mostly tell in term of economy. I think that as American society is quite open for liberty. Um, I think that American society have liberty. I think it is one of the best in the world in terms of liberty. Yeah, and that make American society tend to be some ideal country of their democracy. So in terms of economy, they are like that too. Which which it mean that the government do um, do only a little thing to the American to the society and let the merchant let the merchant take control of the economy. As you can see in the economy that there are some term of Adam Smith that
Yeah.
that's the invisible hand. It work when the merchant and the buyer make the same deal that something like the cost of the product that is acceptable to both seller and buyer. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, and by doing this, the American economy will have a lot of competition because it's like many merchanters need to many merchanters need to work their best to make their products superior to the other one, and by doing that the product quality keep growing and growing. Yeah, so I think that is a good thing so that a consumer can have a good product, and the economy will grow a lot more than the other one that is quite egalitarian, like you can see maybe China may not be the best case to provide that because it's because due to due to due to that due to the fact that China have less money to pay in order to come in that country. So many factory in so many producers tend to make a factory in China because they can just pay less amount of money and they able to put their factory. Yeah, I think that the example for an economy that is quite egalitarian is I think maybe Venezuela. Yeah, because the government try to make try to make an economy situation in their country by their own and not rely on people. Yeah, and the result is like the news on this day that they have quite a severe economic problem. Yeah,
I see. Right.
so I think that that it is a good thing that we have a competition, but we can also see in the other side of YouTube because having too much competition make will make a natural resource burn out quickly. Yeah, because many people who sell a product need to use the natural resource. Yeah, so it may come in a problem like global warming or deforestation, something like this. And the other drawback of to having too much competition is that we will we will tend to get a lot of stress. Yeah, because we need to always fear that if we don't if we don't improve ourselves, the other
Mm,
may surpass us, and
mm,
we may not like we are before, and something like this. So
all right.
I think that having being too competitive is good, is isn't a bad thing totally, but it isn't a good thing totally too.
I
So
see.
yeah, I think that we should choose a country that um is good for us. Yeah.
I see. Anyway, I do agree with all of your statement that you mentioned, right? Just because I do believe that in such a one country they have to choose just only for that they are going to be a highly competitive or they're just not having any much competitive. For example, like you mentioned, for those country who quite like let's say dictatorship or even like closed country. Kansas is not that deliberately or even freedom much more that. So I would say that I do agree that highly competitive may cause such a positive consequences toward the country just because I think it can improve or even foster the lots of benefit when comparing to those kind of bad consequences. It may cause for some problem about like a stress or even anxiety, but everything can be dealt like that when it comes to have like an economical crisis. So I would say that a competitive must be the first glance and the first priority that we have to seek and see the delight of it instead of those kind of like a close thing or that we have that thing that happened here. Good. Thank you so much for sharing here. I would say that I really appreciate it for this question that you explore and
Yeah,
elaborate your idea
I
much
try to
more.
talk a little longer. Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Just because this is the way. This is a flaw for you, right? Can so to me, I'm okay with it speaking about for you. If you wish, if you want to say something, just open up or like for more discuss. It would be benefit to you. All right. For the last question for today is that if it were up to you to choose one item from the 21st century now, right, to place a time capsule for future generations, what would you choose? So this kind of like conditional sentence, right? It doesn't happen yet, but you have to imagine and what should be happen, right? Okay. So if you're clear for this statement, you can imagine what is going to be happen here, right? Your specific reason and example to support your own choice and explain both the item significant and the reason why it embody or embed or penetrate here to the culture. I mean like impact, let's say embody means impact or root from something here, culture early 21st century. You need to think about something here, maybe such an innovation, or you can create something. Let's say like if you can invent or produce such a very super fantastic medicine, what it should be like that. Just try to think outside the box. I mean, like try to make your critical thinking a bit, just because I would say that this is kind of like a test your ability to think outside the box, right? I'm going to give you for maybe 2 or 3 minutes, and if you're ready, just turn on the microphone. Okay? Yeah.
Okay. Um, well, I think that the the thing that I will choose to place in a time capsule for my future generation.
Mm-mm.
I think I will just put some goal or review that 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 tend to have a higher cost at more time like some diamond or something like this, yeah, to so that when I pass it to future generation it will have a cost, and it may give them some some money to use it to something like to make them have a money to to start some company or something like this, yeah.
Mhm.
um the reason that I will not choose something that is related to medicine is because I think that if I accidentally find a new medicine that
Mm,
cause
mm,
some
mm, mm,
disease,
mm.
I think that if I actually discover something like this, I
Yeah.
will just use it right now. Yeah, because I
Uh,
don't see a reason that I need to wait for for the medicine to use in future generation.
mm,
As long as I use it right now, it can be improved better and better because we will have more time to research the medicine that whether it has a side effect or not, and if it has a side effect we will how we will eliminate the side effect, yeah. And to do research like this usually consume a lot of time, so
mm,
I think that placing it to a time capsule is like freezing the research, and it will it will just make a medicine become better slower than it should how it should be, yeah. And
mm.
if we talk about the medicine that may not be that may not be used in a future, like
Yeah.
some old medicine, I think that if that is the case, then we don't have a reason to put it in a time capsule, because if it isn't used in a future anymore, it means that that medicine is outdated now, and it may
Ah.
have a better medicine to use, and it may cause a better respond to patient condition, and it may have a less side effect to them. Yeah, so I think that it has no reason to provide something that is related to medical field to the time
Mm.
soon. So I will just choose something that will cost more money for the future
Right.
generation, so they can like they can have money to start their work, yeah, something
Mhm.
like this.
So you just mentioned that if you can invent or like create some
Yeah.
drug or medicine, right? So I should yeah, you just mentioned that just because it's gonna have a two version of like benefit that can be used or effectiveness to the patient, that patient can respond it effectively or not, right? And on the other side is that the drawback or even like the side effect, right? Okay, so I just want to know, like, when it comes to creating such a drug or medication, do I do understand that it can cause both of effectiveness and the drawbacks as a side effect, right?
Yeah.
How we reconsider or you know like carefully judge that it is going to be good for patient or it is going to cause for some side effect a lot when choosing for some kind of medicine.
um well, the answer is that we research it.
Mm,
By researching it mean that we will we will make a volunteer for a patient who receive the medicine. Like
mm,
for example, like in a medicine that treat cancer,
yeah,
when it is invent, and patient and doctor doesn't totally know the side effect of the
yep,
medicine, they will try to volunteer some
Mhm.
patient that want to test a new drug. Maybe
Mm.
because their body is like they can't receive a traditional treatment anymore and they need to find something new. Yeah, so the volunteer always appear and we don't have a problem like we don't have any volunteer something like this. We don't have a problem. Yeah.
In Thailand, it's prohibited. We cannot even do it, right?
Yeah, in Thailand we can do it, but we need to consent a lot of
So it's hard, is that right? It may
Yes,
be
yes.
a lot of process or like next step, second step, first step, whatever step
Yes,
here we have
something
to
like that.
reconsider again. Oh, this is quite challenging. I mean, it's a little bit
Yes.
difficult to do so, right?
So,
Yeah,
in order for a patient in Thailand to receive a new treatment, they need to enter a lot of process to sign a letter, yeah, something like that. But
All right.
but many people in Thailand still want to get a new treatment if
Really?
their body is like they can't take a traditional treatment anymore. Maybe because medicine.
So we have to change. So the it is
Yes.
the responsibility of the doctor. Am I correct? I mean, once the patient cannot even respond to the drug or even it's not going to be good, so we have to ship and change it according
Yes,
to the
we
patient,
need
right?
to change the medicine. Yeah.
I see. Great. Thank you so much for your sharing here. I can feel that you are really active for today's class. What happens to you? That's great. Just because, okay, again, right? Just remind you again for flow for practice, for flow for speaking is that so the only way to make it fluent is that practice, practice, and practice. I do understand that we can concern about the accuracy, but we have to choose and prioritize which one comes first. I mean, if you want to, let's say like if you master for your fluency, and then after that I can accurate or like recheck, double check, or see some this kind of error to you, but I'm not directing to correct you. I might say something like shadowing. I mean, for example, if you say something wrong, but I try to repeat in a different form, but it holds the same meaning. That's it. This is the way that we have to, correct the mistake, because it's a little bit, it's hard to give a constructive correcting timely and you know what I mean? Just because we deal with people, we do, yeah. All right, thank you so much for today. Maybe thank you นะฮะวันนี้รู้สึกว่า active เวอร์ดีใจนะ all right thank you so much for today class and see you next week ครับผม bye bye สวัสดีครับ